was awesome!
Good afternoon, Free Enterprise fans. I am Prof. Corey, joined by Kinda Nerdy Housewife. We got a fun match for you guys, a winner or go home match for the hook wrap between marty56 and Vampstar87. Kinda Nerdy Housewife, how you doing today?
Not too bad. Glad to watch another Free Enterprise race. Believe it or not, there are only 2 races left in the Hook/Magma group. Boy, we've come a long way, and it's kind of amazing that we're almost at the end here. So, what do you think of these objectives? Obviously, Objective 4, Defend Fabul, open right away.
Yep, we heard beforehand that our runners might have been a little nervous seeing these objectives, and I can understand why. When you see 3 objectives and they scream jet at you, your heart rate's already starting to rise. You're just thinking like, oh, all right, how am I going to get through this? How do I go fast? What do I skip? How am I going to get strong? Just the questions that you always have to ask yourself suddenly all hit you at the same time.
Yep, looking at the objectives, this is a 2-item to-go mode seed. We only need A, the hook, and B, a way to get to Threemus, whether that be the Darkness Crystal or the Pass.
The Dwarf Castle being one of our objectives also means that one of the settings for the group flags, the warp glitch, might not come into factor as much as a normal race would. Most of the time, runners will wait to do that Dwarf Castle until they have a source of warp from one of their black mages or a powered up Tella. But in this case, that's not even necessary. You could zip right there and get that objective done. Furthermore, because that extra item, which would normally be in the sealed cave, you don't logically need it to beat the game, if that makes sense, because you're kind of skipping to it. There's no way that unless the Luca key is available elsewhere, there's no way that they have to do it.
Yeah, because even if the Pass or the Darkness Crystal happens to be in that Luca cave, the other one's going to be somewhere else.
Starting with a Kane today. Kane, definitely one of the better characters available on this flag set. Can equip a wide variety of powerful gear. Gets to decent HP totals by the end. Can equip things like an Avenger sword if you find that, which normally only Cecil could use. And in these flags, Cecil is not always a sure thing, so Kane is sort of the next best bet when it comes to equipping all that gear that would normally go on the Paladin.
Yep, we do have vanilla agility turned on, so taking Cecil is sort of a double-edged sword. He is able to equip the best weapons in the game, both the Crystal Sword and the Excalibur. But the downside is when the party's agility is based on Cecil's agility, the bosses can be relatively a lot faster. And already spiciness, we have a Mist Dragon in the Baron Castle, who's like, here's the keys to my place. I live in the Baron Castle, here's the key.
Yeah, stop on by whenever you're feeling like it. We'll hang out. I'll give you an extra key item. It'll be great.
And our second starting character is Rydia. Rydia is a little more difficult to use in the endgame because of her low HP growth and her experience curve, making her require a lot of experience to gain levels. But the advantage she has is she learns the warp spell extremely early, which we do have the warp glitch turned on in the Dwarf Castle, so that can be useful.
Each of our runners having a little bit of divergence. Everybody, I think, has kind of their own routine that they get into as far as the start of a seed. marty56 going into the remains of the ruined castle in order to find an edge
And there's also an Edge in Damsian Castle, so edges all over this seed.
2 edges available right away, and I'm sure both runners are going to end up picking up both of these edges. That pretty much takes care of the overworld. Edge is extremely powerful because it comes in at level 25 with a lot of high-powered gear. We saw some calls in the chat for some early demist checks. That's actually on the table. A double edge party could probably handle that. Might be a little bit slow. Might want to wait just a little bit to let everybody catch up, but it's an option.
Yeah, for sure. Another important thing is Edge does have that sneak command, which now that we are using the Japanese item drop table, means that Edge can steal some very fun stuff.
Speaking of fun stuff, got a defense sword on Marty's side from the underground treasure. That's a really nice item to find there. Most of the time the loot doesn't come in at that high tier, but that is Kane's best weapon for the majority of the game.
For sure. So this early seed being quite kind to our runners. 2 edges, a defense sword, some good gear.
Vampstar, meanwhile, working through the rest of the watery pass, trying to pick up some extra loot. This is something that runners often don't do unless they have a source of exit, but Vampstar's decided, or it's his strategy, that he wants to pick up extra gear, and he's rewarded for it. Finds that outstanding Murasame. I think it was Murasame? Masamune? Murasame. That is going to go right on that edge.
Yep, and that was one of the further away treasure chests that often gets skipped, too. Because you have to weave through that hidden passage. But that's going to pay off huge. We do, of course, have both the T Wildish flag on, which means that the treasure chests can have anything in them, but they are weighted to where harder to reach treasure chests in general have better gear. And you may also notice many empty treasure chests. That is because we have the I forget the name. Is it
Sparse, I believe.
Sparse, yes.
Sparse.
Which means that 40% of our treasure chests have been pre-looted. And Rydia learning the Imp spell, which is only the tiniest bit stronger than her starting Chocobo spell. So, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be seeing that summon today.
Doesn't seem likely. Does give him an opportunity to check the back of the mountain, and finds just some pocket change in those chests. Might see him save and check out the character on the other side of Hobbs, and then if they're worth picking up, they'll have a boss fight.
Yep, so both our players right now just looting, picking up party members, trying to get some starting gear. And we have a Porum up on top of Mount Hobbs, guarded by Ashura, and Marty's like, I don't need that.
Yeah, Ashura's a little bit annoying. I don't think he's picked up any anti-mage gear that would make that fight a lot faster. It's doable. You can do something like life locking Ashura by waiting until she casts the life spell on that blue face, and then if you attack right afterward, she'll cycle right back to the life spell. So as long as you only attack after she casts life, she'll never heal herself, but it takes a while. And do we want to spend all that much time for Porum? Maybe not.
And Marty, following the always complete your objectives mindset, heading over to Fabul, gonna do the Fabul defense fight, which looks to be a couple of guards.
These guys also would go down pretty fast to some anti-mage gear. You would never know it because they have such little HP where you normally find them. But they do count as mages. I guess it sort of makes sense. They counter with those size and mini spells.
Which are going to be super annoying during this fight. We don't have a source of mute. But luckily, the spot doesn't have too much HP. That legendary ninja sword edge just slicing right through it. And let's see what the King of Fabul has for us today. Oh, I missed it. That was so fast.
Sand Ruby.
Okay, so that's not progress, but it does give us another character check. Meanwhile, Vampstar taking a different decision from Marty, deciding, yeah, I want to pick up a white mage, and has decided to battle Ashura.
Right away, we see that problem we were discussing, where Ashura casts Cure 4 or Cure 3 on herself. So you have to either take advantage of the life lock or get so many attacks in that you take down the boss before she's able to heal herself up.
And poor Rydia with that 30 HP taking a nap.
Looks like 2 edges was more than enough to take care of this problem. Vampstar now has his white mage.
Yep, and a couple levels on her to boot. Meanwhile, oh, nope. I thought he was going to do Antlion Cave, but he faked me out.
Yep, looks like he's going to check the Nasidia characters. Neither runner has gone there yet, but we actually get 2 characters for free on this flag set. Many times in Free Enterprise, we'll play with settings where the easy characters that aren't guarded by bosses are unavailable, but in this flag set, they are. Or free characters are enabled, and C relaxed is enabled, which means is why we were able to find these edges where in other settings he's normally gated behind later game locations.
Yep, and I just noticed that Marty has a Final Fantasy IX character naming scheme going on today. And Vampstar about to get very disappointed with their quite useless imp summon.
Yeah, this free spell, which in the vanilla game is where Rydia learns fire, overcoming her fear of fire to enable the party to pass through Mount Hobbs. Instead of giving her the fire spell, which she'll just learn naturally by level up, in Free Enterprise we give her a summon spell there. Not one of the super strong ones. You can't get Leviathan or Bahamut, but you can get pretty much anything else.
Yep, and in case you weren't aware, the Imp Summon is a super rare drop from Imp-type enemies in the vanilla game. I know I didn't even know about it until I got a player's guide many, many years after I first played this game.
I didn't know about it until I started watching Free Enterprise.
But both of our runners converging on the Antlion Cave. There's a super easy boss in the bottom of this cave that will give us a key item check.
Yep, this is the classic tension you see in races like this, where Marty has completed one more objective, has finished up the Fabul Gauntlet, or the Fabul Defense, I should say. Vampstar is not yet, but Vampstar took some extra time, got extra loot, including that powerful edge gear, and also has the Porum in his party. Does having that extra power help him in the long term? We'll have to find out.
Well, we got even more Baron Guards in the bottom of Antlion Cave here. This should be a super simple fight. Besides the fact that there's basically no HP here, once you kill the officer, the soldiers are not very well trained and they will just suddenly turn on each other.
As expected, this boss is not a problem for Vampstar. This is one of the easiest boss locations in the game.
Yep, it's also a pretty common first check in this randomizer, and we get a pan. Well, if we ever get our underground access, that's going to be super useful because it is 3 key checks, and it means we only have to go through the Sylph Cave once.
Yeah, this increases the chances that this seed is a Jetty one. Having, like you said, we only need 2 key items to finish the game. That pan is going to give us a lot of chances at finding one of them. Or I guess specifically finding the hook. Or moon access, I should. So it could be either.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see what our runners do next. We do still have that Baron key, and we know that Mist Dragon's sitting there. And it looks like Vampstar is heading toward Baron. We'll see what he decides to do here. There's the Baron Inn spot to take on. There is, of course, the false King of Baron at the top of the castle. And there is the true King of Baron, aka the Odin spot, at the bottom of the basement of the castle. But you need a few more levels before you can take on that spot. And of course, neither of our runners have gone to Mount Ordeals. Because we haven't had a Cecil or a Tella, no one's really been strongly incentivized to do that. And we got another edge sitting at the bar in the Baron Inn, guarded by a Lunar Sparkle.
Lunar Sparkles can be pretty scary. Now, granted, that first Lunar Sparkle is going to have extremely low HP. One of these fast edges is probably going to take it out pretty quickly, but do gotta watch out for them. They can get the jump on you, especially something like a Wyvern.
Yeah, but Wyvern here could definitely cause you to wipe. And this is not a terrible spot for Ogopogo.
Yep, the one problem here is that it will cut his party's HP in half, which isn't going to matter for this fight, but it will matter for the second boss fight.
Yep, and this boss spot, having very little HP, immediately goes down. And we got another Lunar Sparkle. And it's D-Lunars.
This is a pretty tricky boss in this spot. With his HP totals, if he triggers the virus script, that's what he goes for.
Ooh, yeah, that's no bueno. The nice thing about these D-Lunars is they do have several strategies for beating them. As undead monsters, you can fling curative spells and items at them for good damage. Edge's Flame spell actually would do really good work here and wouldn't trigger the virus script.
The big thing working for Marty here is that his edges are extremely quick, especially having one of them in the middle slot to create some ideal agility anchoring. So he is able to get a lot of attacks off in between those viruses. Might just be able to brute force his way through this.
Yep, the problem is when there's only one D-Lunar left, it'll start throwing out this fire spell, which could be a problem here. Getting some cures in, though, so that's probably going to be enough, I think.
Jumps with the cane, dodging another.
Yep, that cane jump is situationally very useful. Vampstar also getting through his Ogopogo, and the D-Lunars go down, so good job to Marty. Let's see how Vampstar handles this.
Referencing the Murasame in the chat, Vampstar is the one that picked it up because he chose to make that deeper dive into the watery pass for some more loot.
Marty deciding against a third edge. And getting a package.
Lots of character checks in this seed. The fact that he turned down an edge means that he might not really need to find anymore. Maybe a Tella would be worth picking up. He has a lot of utility and opens up some grind options. If the right equipment is found, Cecil could be worth taking. I think the best either runner's found is a light sword. So, it might be up to preference whether that's enough to consider him. I think if I know...
they're undead. Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Vampstar living up to his name and using vampires on the lunar dragons. However, the lunar dragons are undead enemies, and thus when you use drain spells on them, it drains you instead of them. One of those weird foibles of the Final Fantasy IV battle system.
Very unfortunate. I have certainly made that mistake myself before. It's easy to overlook. I think Vampstar might have just sold his defense sword. If I was watching that correctly, I think that's why he has all that money. It's a pretty bold decision since the king can use that, but it will finance a lot of other things.
That's true. Sometimes you have to make that decision of, do I want lots of money or do I want one really powerful weapon? Especially in this flag set, we have, I forget the name of the flag, but items will only sell for 1/4 of their normal value. Meanwhile, Marty, heading in, gonna say hello to our good friend, the Mist Dragon. This fight isn't too bad. This Mist Dragon will hurt pretty hard, but it will go into its Mist phase, during which it'll just kind of hang out and do nothing, and that's an excellent time to heal up your team or apply any buffs that you need.
Really showing off why the edges are so good in the overworld. They can pack a punch really fast. And being fast is very important when you're trying to fight the D-Mist. Getting as many turns in as possible before it goes invincible.
Yep, and finishing that off so fast it didn't even go into Mist phase. Now, the hard part is you're going to be doing a whole nother boss here and watching a long cutscene. Are you gonna remember to check that Mist Dragon to actually go over to the Village of Mist and pick up your item from Rydia's mother, or are you gonna forget? Because it's really easy to forget, especially if it's a long time between when you actually defeat the Mist Dragon and when you get back out to the overworld.
Dr. Cossack in the chat asking, what's with all these Odin summons? It's a great question. Odin is a summon that Rydia can use, obviously. If our runners chose to take advantage of that, they could. But most of the time in Free Enterprise, we don't bother. Most bosses are not susceptible to it, and it's better off just being sold to buy other things.
The one boss it can be useful for, especially if you don't have any other AoE attacks or an hourglass, is the Celebrina dolls, because they are not immune to Odin's instant death, so you can take them all out in one quick swipe. And let's see who is ruling Baron Castle today. It is a Mylon of some sort. Nope, it's a Dark Imp. They are also red robes. I like
to imagine. I was just gonna say, I like to imagine that it was 3 Dark Imps stacked up in a trench coat, sitting on the throne.
Yes, in a red trench coat, yeah.
I am the king of Baron. Yep. Normal king here.
Oh dear. But this shouldn't be bad. This spot does not really have too much physical attack. This would also be a good use of Odin.
That's a good point. Odin can miss. You can deal with that a little bit by throwing Rydia in the middle slot. Whoever's in the middle does get an accuracy boost to everything, spells and attacks. But in this case, Marty's powerful fighters will take care of this pretty quickly, it looks like.
And meanwhile, Vampstar going up Mount Ordeals. He finds Sid just sitting on the cliffside, taking in the beautiful view. And Marty is through the Dark Imps, so let's see what's in the pot in the very bottom of Baron. Oh, but first we get a character, and it's Dark Knight Cecil. Nope. Marty decides not to take a Cecil today.
Hard no there.
So Vampstar finding another Lunar Sparkle. And it's Pale Dim. These edges should crush through this pretty quickly.
Yeah, this boss spot's easy most of the time anyway, and Pale Dim is probably one of the best spots you could see, bosses you could see here.
And getting an Earth Crystal from the Baron basement. Now, not only does that open up the Tower of Zot, which contains a character or 2 character checks and 1 key item check, it also opens up the treasury and the Troya Castle.
marty56 might be trying to make a big play here. He's gonna go down to visit the true king of Baron, as you called him. See what's at that Odin boss spot. This spot is normally very strong. Probably won't be able to deal with this, but if he's lucky, he might run into something free.
Evil Wall, not free. Immediately sets out.
Super duper not free.
But yeah, occasionally you will get lucky. I mean, we haven't seen Water Hag yet, so if you get a Water Hag there, or King and Queen Eblin, yeah, it's doable. Does remember to go chat with Rydia's mother. And is rewarded with a Magma key. That is pretty huge.
Yep, that might be the required move if you want to get underground. I'd say likely. Now, implications for later in the seed. This does mean that the hook, which is necessary to launch the Falcon, could be hiding anywhere. It could be on the moon. So that does mean that one of those objectives might be a little bit more elusive than we initially thought.
But what's going to be really nice is we can go bonk Yang with the pan, and that gets us a total of 3 key item checks. So 1 from the Sylphs and 2 from Yang's wife.
Yeah, those key items have really racked up fast in this seed. Sometimes you get through the whole overworld and you're sitting on 0, 1, 2 items. But Marty's already got 6, and he's going to pick up 3 more, like you just said, with plenty of other easy checks available.
Yep. Meanwhile, Vampstar getting through the second Ordeals boss, a back attack CPU, and we'll be going into the crystal room shortly. Marty dropping his Magma key, while Vampstar is gonna get a rat tail. Well, we can't turn that in until we find a hook. And a Valvalis. This is not the worst spot to find Valvalis. She can be really nasty if she's in a high HP spot or a spot with really high magic defense. But here she's not going to have much HP. Dart is guaranteed to hit, and we're done.
Easy peasy. It's a pretty good chance we'll never learn what's behind that rat tail. Once you have the hook, it means that you've got that objective already in hand. So unless the pass or the darkness crystals behind it, our runners probably won't have to go there.
It might be good for a quick, if I'm trying to get to 10 key items in order to get double experience, that would be a good one to check too.
That's a great point, actually. And our runners are well on their way there. 10 is probably likely at this point, I would say.
But you know what? It's time. It's time to raise. Big bomb, coffin, poison. Ooh, another ninja sword and a strength ring and a full moon and a black belt. Other than that, one legendary ninja sword and a strength ring, a little disappointing. So I'm gonna go with 4 out of 10.
Yep, agreed. 4 out of 10, maybe 4.5. Yep, no, that sounds about right.
It will be nice to have another really good ninja sword, but yeah, a little sad. It was actually pretty empty, thanks to that sparse flag.
That is Marty's first ninja sword, or I shouldn't use the expression ninja sword since there's a literal ninja sword, but his first Murasame, since the other one was the one in the water he passed. So if and when Vampstar picks that up, that'll be his second.
I guess katana. Katana is probably what we're looking for.
That's probably the right word. Marty finally making his underworld shop checks. Some big things we're looking for: coffins, hourglasses, sirens. All those are very useful for dealing with some of the more challenging spots in the game or to open up grind options.
Ooh, and Marty finding a sylph in one of the chests. That's going to be great for his Rydia.
Yeah, I think Vampstar just bought one in the city or from one of his shops, and now both runners have access to that.
Unfortunately, because of the buffering, I didn't see if Marty checked our job dwarf or not. Also found a silence staff, a great weapon for his Porum. Raises the white magic stat quite a bit.
I hadn't noticed when you picked that up, but I do see that cursed ring in his inventory. That'll be very useful down the road if he needs it for anchoring purposes. I mentioned before that having edge in that middle spot on the overworld was great. When you have slow bosses, having a fast anchor is good. But when you have fast bosses, like in the underground and on the moon, you generally want a very slow anchor to, because of the dark sorcery, which is the Final Fantasy IV agility system. Long story short, if you have a really slow anchor, then everybody, the bosses and the party members, sit at the same relative agility, which is what you want when you're fighting a fast boss. So that curse ring will help. Normally it drops all your stats down, or no, I say normally, it always does that, but that works to your advantage when you want low agility.
Marty also finding some Bacchus wines. That's going to be great for his 3 physical fighters. He won't have to waste extra turns with Porum casting the Berserk spell. Meanwhile, Vampstar, given these lunar dragons a second chance, knows not to use drain items on them now. But they still are giving him a little bit of trouble here.
He is importantly avoiding...
that sylph's going to be a help, though.
Will heal him up. Will prompt the remedy counter from the D-Lunars. It won't be a crazy amount of healing, but it will drag the fight out a little bit.
And unlike the vampire spell that does not have the reverse effect of draining your life.
Marty again keeping in theme of taking care of your objectives, diving into the dwarf castle and running into the antlion as his first of 2 bosses.
Ooh, this is gonna hurt. This spot has relatively high physical attack, so these hits are gonna hurt. But he does have fully kitted out edges. He found a shop that sold ninja swords in the underground And the worst weapon any of his edges have is a ninja sword, so that is great. I believe his Rydia has a Sylph, so she can do a little damage. Oh, and he found a Levia somewhere, so Leviathan summon gonna help a ton here. But he does have that Sylph if he needs a little extra punch of healing, being that his Porum is still relatively low a level.
Chat reminding us. No, please go ahead.
Meanwhile, Vampstar showing us the power of Sylph and finally getting through those lunar dragons.
Receives the package for his trouble. I don't think we have seen yet who that character is, but it might not matter at this point. Both players have plenty of very strong party members. Like Marty, Vampstar choosing not to take the third edge. Edge is very good, but it is tough to fully gear him up since he equips 2 weapons. So you don't want to count on finding 6 excellent edge weapons. 4 is already hard to find.
That is for sure. And I mean, this team is plenty endgame viable already. Porum's not the best white mage, but she'll do. She needs a few extra levels to keep on her feet, but is perfectly good at healing. And you got your 3 physical fighters that already have pretty decent equipment. And Rydia, you can either level her up really high and have her cast nukes, or, you know, just have her hang out and be an agility anchor.
Mom in the Golbez spot of the Dwarf Castle bosses. This spot actually has very low stats since it's more of a story battle than a serious threat. But Mom Bomb's a little bit annoying. Not dangerous, but hard to chew through the extra 10,000 HP that gets added on during the explode transition. So just have to let her do her thing and then take care of the little bombs.
Yep, this battle is definitely more of a time sink than a challenge.
Zoe Vermilion making a great point in the chat. By the way, shout outs to Zoe, our restreamer tonight, as well as Gambit handling the tracking. Zoe says that the bombs aren't resistant to fire. You would think they do the whole exploding thing. They're red, made of fire, but no, you can cast a flame spell, no problem.
And we'll watch super creepy Red Hand steal this item, but we have the warp spell on Rydia, so we're gonna get it right back. So, sorry Red Hand, not today. Meanwhile, Vampstar making his way through Baron Castle, meeting up with our buddy the Mist Dragon. Once again, he's at a little bit higher levels than Marty was here, so should have no problems with this fight. And we get our Hook! So Hook being in the Luca cave, which is much more accessible if you have the warp spell in Dwarf Castle. Meanwhile, Luca wearing around her neck a pink tail. Interesting dwarven fashion choice, but makes sense, I guess. It is
all the rage.
It is kind of necklace-like, I guess. Ooh, and finding hourglasses in the Dwarf Castle shop. That's going to be really useful if you want to do a, say, gold dragon grind.
Yeah, now that Marty has almost go mode, has everything except a way to get to the final boss, it's probably time for him to start thinking about how he's going to power up his party. Don't think he's found sirens yet, but with 2 edges in the party, at least I would be tempted to run into the Tower of Zot and steal a bunch of them.
Yep, especially because you have Porum, and Porum's special Japanese-only ability, Cry, is unfortunately bugged for its original intent, but Due to that bug, it also increases the steal rate for enemies. So if you cry, your edges will be stealing even more sirens. Naming Cecil Golbez. I love it.
He's really thinking about that. He might actually want this Cecil.
I don't think we've seen a Crystal Sword or an Excalibur yet. He is thinking really hard about it, though. And he does take Cecil.
I know that a light sword was found by the runners, but I don't know if Vampstar is still holding on to it or not.
Yeah, that's true. Meanwhile, we're going to get a check on our free Feymarch chest, which is a pass. So Marty is officially in go mode.
Amazing. The 37 minutes already ready to go. All he has to do is probably the right order is power up, then go do the... Actually, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's just short on those 10 key items. But going through the hook route's not going to give him another one. I think I would probably check that pan. He doesn't need any of the pan items, but it could get him to 10, which is going to speed up his grind significantly.
Which it looks like he's going to go do. It'll be interesting to see what he gets here. He would love to get a few more key items to get up to 10 key items and make that grind go a lot faster. I know whenever I get a quick jet seed like this, my heart starts pounding like crazy.
Yeah, you're thinking like, what if the other person's already got their stuff? What if they didn't waste time? You know, I did that one thing which wasn't necessary. Maybe they didn't do that thing. You just start asking yourself lots of questions, but you just kind of have to set all that aside and just be like, you know what? I'm ready. All I can do is go as fast as I can and hope it works out.
Not getting a key item from the sylphs, but getting a white spear, which will be an excellent equip for Kain. Boop. I hate when I bop the airship.
Casually run it into a mountain real quick, pick it back up.
Oh, I do that so much. Probably grabbing some more Bacchus wines here and at least one silk web for the for the Threemus fight. Oh, sold the white spear. That will let you get all the Bacchus wines.
Yeah, that makes sense. Since he's still holding on to that defense sword for Kain, white spear is it's either cash or a throwing utility.
I suppose that's true. The white spear does have the holy elemental, so it does a little more damage than Threemus, but the defense sword is almost exactly as good. And is going to go to the Fabul, check on Sheila, see what she's holding on to today.
If he's willing to wait until after launching the Falcon to do his grind, he only needs to find one here. Because by completing all the objectives, he'll be given the crystal, which would be his 10th key item. But going through the hook route at lower levels could be harder.
He does have a sylph on that Rydia, though. That's going to make that a lot easier. And he did get a nice sword for his ninjas, but no key items from the housewife today.
All right, looks like Marty's just going to have to deal with being at 8 key items. He could technically try to do like an earth crystal or something like that, but it's probably not worth it. You're in go mode, just finish the game.
Go mode means go. Meanwhile, Vampstar raiding that treasury, finding that Levia summon, which is probably where Marty got it when I didn't know where he got it before. Picking up a nice sword for his edge. But it does look like Marty is going straight for that hook route. Nope. Yep. Nope.
He's going somewhere.
I mean, we're all going somewhere if you think about it. Nope. Yep. Okay, fooling me, but is going sort of straight for the hook route. The other nice thing is you will be able to check the Eblin shop here, which as a high value shop, a shop that is much more heavily weighted, does have a good chance of having those sirens you would like for your grind. And they do, along with a few coffins if you want an easy start.
Yeah, that'll be a big time save. Only able to buy 11. I don't think that's going to cover him. He is forced to do an egg grind here. He can't go to the moon because he doesn't have a way to get to the moon. So it does sell some more stuff, buys a bunch of coffins. We'll see if that turns out to be enough. He has picked up a good amount of experience. He's going to get some going through here, but he's only in the mid-20s. He may end up having to come back for more.
I also don't like selling that silence rod unless he has something even better on Porum already.
On Vampstar's side, looks like he's making the trip to the Tower of Zot. Does some more looting, finds the one Flame Dog trap chest. Might get something good out of there. Notably, did not do his demist check. He has not picked up his Magma key. Surely if he had, he would have gone underground by now, but instead he's still clearing out the overworld. Also resets out for some reason.
Maybe remembers he forgot the Mist Dragon?
Possibly.
Oh, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that was just a technical glitch.
Yeah, might have just slipped on his keyboard, or if he has some other hotkey to reset. Oh, you know what? I think folks in chat called it out. He's trying to keep his Cecil at level 1.
Oh,
He
yeah.
does have the Cursed Ring and the Dwarf Axe equipped on him to keep his agility down at the minimal value. So he gaining levels on Cecil kind of undoes all that work.
Yep. Vanilla, or I shouldn't say vanilla. Level 1 Paladin Cecil comes with like 13 agility. So if you're going to use him as an agility anchor, you really don't want to get any more levels on him.
Cursed Ring drops agility by 15. Dwarf Axe is another -5. So he can gain a little bit, but not that much.
Meanwhile, Marty almost to the boss fights in the hook route here. You sold it! You sold it! Okay, that must have been a mistake. He must have meant to sell the Artemis bow instead. Which was right next to it. I'm sorry, Marty. I shouldn't be so mean, but...
You can't have your silent staff and sell it too. That's what they say.
That is exactly how the saying goes, I think. Yeah, no, as Dr. Cossack mentioning in chat, those race nerves. I know, especially, like I mentioned, when I get a jet seed like this, my heart starts pounding, my palms start sweating, I start overthinking things, and sometimes you just make those mistakes. But I'll let you take this one.
That's wait, I don't want to gloss over this. That was really impressive by Marty. On the first try, deals with the Pain Man at the King Queen Eblin spot. That is a boss that, unless you're already really powered up, I think party wipes you 99% of the time when you just run into it blind, but he reacted very quickly, threw the heals on exactly the characters they needed to go on, menued quickly. That's another important part of that fight. That was very impressive.
Yeah, that was super impressive. And we see the Magus sisters in the Rubicante spot. This shouldn't be too bad, especially since we have a Mute Knife, which does extra damage against mages, which the Magus sisters are, if you can't tell by the name. And also we have that Leviathan summon that's going to go right through the Magus sisters' wall. And meanwhile, Vampstar fighting Octomam in the Tower of Zot.
Octomam slowly losing its limbs one by one, slowing down as it does so. The fight gets easier and easier as you go along.
Oof, those magic spells still hitting for quite a bit. But look at that mute knife work. Almost 5,000 damage.
That's a big number.
I think with this mute knife, Marty's gonna be just fine here. Vampstar me. Go ahead.
On Marty's side, I was wondering a little bit whether it was wise to go down here before he took the time to get his grind done. Because once you're grinded up to Z-fight levels, these bosses are trivial. But he chose to go in here because it was the more efficient walking play. Didn't want to have to leave the cave, go grind, come back again. So took the risk that his party would be able to deal with it, and was rewarded. He was well set up to deal with both bosses at this location, and now does not have to come back.
Yep, and after this, he will complete objective number 3. That will reward him the crystal, and all he has to do is take those sirens he got, scramble some eggs, and head to Tutoria, where he can take the pass door straight to the moon.
So how exactly do sirens work? What's going to be the trick there that Marty's using to grind?
Well, sirens are a item that were dummied out of the US version of the game. They will summon the single rarest encounter pack in any given area. But what's really nice is there's this little spot in the underworld where the most rare encounter just happens to be the yellow dragon egg. The yellow dragon egg does nothing until you attack it at least once, and it gives a quite a large amount of experience for anywhere in the game. Basically, it gives like something like 38,000. I want to say 32,000. And it's a super quick fight because it is not immune to instant death. So you can use the stone spell, you can use a coffin. It only has something like 1900 HP. So a nice strong sword swing will take it out in one hit. And it makes for a nice quick grind so long as you have a good stack of sirens. What's also fun is recently we switched this randomizer to use the Japanese drop tables. And what's really fun is sometimes you'll use a siren, get a yellow dragon, and that yellow dragon will drop a siren.
Marty takes his first swing, only does about 1,200 or so damage, which does mean it hatches, but the second attack able to take it down. It is a little bit rude if you aren't able to defeat it. It will counter with a big thunder spell that'll hit everybody in the party for a decent amount of damage. Waste some time, so ideally you really want to just pop this in 1 or 2 attacks. 1 even better than 2 because it skips this whole waiting for the hatching animation. So there is, for seeming so simple, there is surprisingly an art to egg grinds. Setting yourself up to do them quickly can really save you a lot of time, especially if you're having to go through 15, 20 of them.
Unfortunately, Vampstar only getting a life staff from the Tower of Zot. Not progress. It is a very nice piece of equipment for Porum. Unfortunately, we know they're heading the wrong way. Hopefully they remember to check Miss Dragon.
I think that's the only thing he has left.
Yes. Yes, he's going to check Miss Dragon. As we know, this is the correct path. So hopefully Vampstar will go to that dwarf castle right away, which is highly likely because it is an objective. We'll get their hook and we'll be in go mode shortly.
Yep, Vampstar, unfortunately those extra spots, well, you know what, I take it back, he did get the rat tail, so when he does finally get to go mode, he'll actually have 10 key items. Will speed up his grind, he won't have to go through quite so many eggs to power up.
Yeah, that will help him catch up a little bit. Unfortunately, Rando's gonna rando, and he just did a lot more checks on the overworld than Marty did, and it just so happens that today it was all underground. It'll be interesting to see if he gets something. Oh, forgot the hovercraft, if he's gonna go turn in the rat tail.
No, he can't pick it up yet because he doesn't have the hook.
Oh, he doesn't have the hook. Yeah, that was silly. Anyway, while we're covering ground that we've already covered before, I do want to remind you all that there is one more race tonight. It is the final race in our hook/magma route group. It will be at 8 p.m. on our partner network RPG Limit Break, and that is going to be Loof versus Commander Leonhardt. That's going to be a fun one. They both have 2 wins, so whoever wins that one not only moves on, skipping the play-in rounds, but will also have the pride of saying, I had a perfect round. Yep,
and it's rather than say skip the play-in rounds, I guess you could say they get an extra chance at the play-in rounds.
Yeah,
that's that 2-phase structure. You want to go through what that looks like?
Yeah, that was a I phrased that in a very misleading way. So thank you for correcting me.
No, it's fine. That was true in the first half of the tournament. 3-0 was a free pass, straight past a whole bunch of nonsense. But in this part of the tournament, we're gonna have 2 play-ins. Everybody who goes 3-0 in their respective Magma or Hook groups will be put into 1 play-in. In the Magma group, 4 of those 5 racers will get to move on to the table. Whoever gets last in that drops down to the next play-in. That's all the racers who went 2-1 plus that extra runner, and then the top 3 of those, I believe it's going to be 12, something like that, will move on to the table. Same story for the hook route, but only the top racer of each play-in moves on, so there's a lot of people vying for a very small number of spots. So getting to that extra play-in with fewer people is really going to up your chances if you're in the hook route.
Thank you for that excellent explanation. I would have been flubbing all over that, but that was very clear and concise.
It's fine. But yeah, I've spent many hours staring at the helpful infographics and whatnot. The folks who organized this tournament definitely made it a little bit more complicated, but for a very good reason. There's the thing that I like most about the structure of this tournament is that there's lots of chances to prove yourself. So even if you feel like I got unlucky with that seed, or I got matched up against really tough people, even if that happens, you still have chances down the line to show what you're really made of. So I think the complication and the length of the tournament is still worthwhile.
Marty heading back to that Eblin shop probably wants to pick up a few more sirens now that he has a little bit of extra cash. He's getting close to Zeromus viable levels, but is not quite there yet, and will be quite a bit more comfy if he picks up a few more sirens here and cracks a few more eggs.
It's about 10 more. I think that should be enough for him, at least for his fighters to be strong enough. He might end up just short on his mages getting to their highest level spells, but the key thing is the Edges and Kane being ready to deal out some Zerk damage.
Yep, and I do believe he has a nice stack of Bacchus wines there, so Porum can just focus on her healing duties. Rydia is definitely Marty's agility anchor. She has both a cursed ring and she's napping through the grind fights here so that she doesn't gain any more agility.
Marty also smartly reaching for those coffins now. Fighter's still not quite at the level to one-shot them with just a regular attack, so coffins will take care of them in one action.
Yep, it is best when you can just do one sword swing, because that's the fastest animations. The coffins is a little longer of an animation, but it's also guaranteed to knock out that egg. And he'll probably do that until he can take them out in one sword swing.
Yeah, it feels really good when you set yourself up with the sirens in that first inventory spot. So you just open the menu, hold down the A button until the egg is dead, and then repeat.
Exactly. Vampstar, go ahead.
I think we were about to say the same thing. Looking around Dwarf Castle, choosing to do a little bit of looting, hopefully sticks around to actually take out those bosses, but it also wouldn't surprise me if he is a little bit more thorough, chooses to check out the rest of the underground shops first before making any plays.
Yep, and while we're still doing things, I would like to take one last opportunity, since we have a bit of a lull, and thank everyone who's working behind the scenes today. We have Zoe doing the restream, making sure nothing catches on fire. We got Gambit out there doing the tracking, paying attention, pushing the buttons, all that good stuff. And of course, my co-commentator, Prof. Corey, helping me out, explaining the tournament structure, because it is utterly bewildering to me.
It was a lot of fun. You're a lot of fun to cast with. You bring some of the best energy among the free enterprise casters, and it really make it a lot of fun. Even right now, when we're just watching some grinds and having Vampstar check out some places that Marty's gone through, it's still a fun time for everyone.
Yep. Unfortunately, Vampstar, I won't say unfortunately, but normally this would be a pretty good play, going and checking the free chest here, but we know that what he needs is in the Dwarf Castle.
Looks like Marty is ready. Levels are maybe slightly low, but especially looking at that Porum with only just under 1,600 HP, that is pretty scary. But if he plays his cards right, gets some well-timed nerfs, marty56 can get through this fight. Which, of course, brings us to the most important question that we get to at the end of every race. KNH, what is that question?
The question is, whose butt are we going to kick tonight? Unfortunately, we can't randomize Threemus into just any old boss spot. His scripts are actually really complex, and he has all those background effects going on. So because we can't randomize his location, instead we randomize his appearance. He will have the exact same stats, scripts, attacks, and everything as a normal Threemus. However, he will have a cool new look. Do you have a favorite Threemus sprite? I say this every time, but my favorite is Theatrhythmus because I am a big rhythm gamer.
I think it might be Threemus HD, just because I love the absurdity of it.
That's a good one, too. There's over 450 sprites. The original set of sprites was done by Dwarfface, but most of the sprites, a vast majority, were done by the lovely Skullakitty. It is Risky Bootsmas. Risky Miss, I guess, is what we had to shorten it to. That is the rival character, I want to say, from the Shantae series.
Space pirates. Always got to watch out for those pirates living in the middle of the moon.
I guess we know who looted all those chests that were empty now.
It makes so much sense.
But as for the fight, I gotta admit, I'm a little scared for this Porum. She is basically at the and the worst possible counter nuke. She is basically right at that bottom limit of viable right now. She can survive through this fight, but it's gonna take a little bit of luck because a super high unnerfed Big Bang would take her out. But it is doable.
Welcome to everybody showing up from the Free Enterprise channel. You showed up at an important part of the race, I would say.
I will give you a quick reminder to please not spoil the race you just came from. We like to give people a little bit of time to watch the VODs and still be surprised. So thank you very much for doing that. So, the people asking coming in, the hook was in the Luca Cave spot, which we accessed via the Dwarf Castle warp glitch. Unfortunately, Vampstar has not stopped by Dwarf Castle yet. Marty stopped by Dwarf Castle the second he got down there, following the philosophy of do objectives first always. And in this case was extremely rewarded.
Unsurprisingly, Marty's Edge is really churning out a lot of damage. One problem I do see is Kane, aka Freya, aka Kane, doesn't appear to be back row glitched. I think he's swinging with back row damage instead of full power. Might not matter in the long run, it'll just slow this fight down a little bit. Much more important is going to be, does Marty get the nerfs off? Do you want to explain what it means to nerf Zeromus' Big Bang?
Yep, you see Marty using the crystal again right now. One of the quirks of Zeromus' script is if you attack him with magic roughly between the time he shakes and the time he casts Big Bang, it will actually lower his magic attack. And the end result is that the Big Bang does about half its normal damage.
Marty, the victim of the board face AI, Forum takes the counter nuke.
And what's bad is all his other characters are berserked.
Yep, they're just swinging away.
But we're in Medio, so
wow.
We might get through here. We don't get any dodges. Kane will probably survive one more, but I think he's going to get enough hits off here. One more should do it.
That's it.
And there it is. GG's to Marty. That was a great Zeromus fight, especially at relatively low levels. I'm going to see if he wants to do an interview today. It looks like he does. GG, Marty. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
What did you think of that seed? I know with these jet seeds, I always just, my heart starts a pounding.
It's funny because last night I rolled completely garbage table seed for a pickup race, and I was like, alright, so this seed is gonna be hot garbage. It was my mind for like 2 hours. This was not that garbage, but it was still garbage. I hate jet seeds, as you can see on screen.
I do see that now.
So yeah, that was
bold and centered.
So that seed was. So when I saw the Threemus, I was like, all right, well, that's one worry off my mind. And then I immediately saw the Barrington. I was like, oh, this is gonna be Jetty, isn't it? Like, I was already real nervous when I saw the objectives, and then just that Threemus and the Baron Key. The edges helped a lot. I think when I see that many early edges and it's a seed that's gonna look Jetty, I just have a tendency to play aggressively. Like Ordeals, for example, I was planning on basically fading that for a while until I could just breeze through it quickly and just do all the checks that were most likely to give me key items.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also talking about aggressive plays, you when you were in go mode, you just had to go launch the Falcon. You could have taken those sirens out of the cave and gone up to grind some to make the fights easier, but instead you chose to go with the more direct route of you're already in the cave, went down to those hook bosses, and handled, I think, the Dark Knight Cecil really impressively. Most people take a wipe there on the first go, but you were able to run into that blind and react fast enough to get healed up.
That was a panic attack. When I saw the DKC, I was like, oh no, this is not what I wanted to see. I'm actually kind of surprised I survived that, to be honest. I was at least expecting to have to turn my battle speed down when I saw it, so I'm just glad that worked out.
Yeah, that was super impressive watching it.
Yeah, there was a moment while I was siren grinding when I realized I don't have enough sirens to get Forum up to tier 4, and I thought about going into the Z fight, just nerfing every Big Bang and just going with tier 3. I did end up doing that, but I ended up waiting until tier 4 and buying more sirens. And the reason I made that decision is because I felt like I was playing well, and like I was like, I don't mind losing the time to get the sirens for having a safer Z fight, because I've taken a lot of rough wipes trying to do that exact same thing I was gonna do in tier 3.
Yeah, even at the end there, we were a little worried when your Porum went down, but luckily you were far enough through the fight where your Berserked warriors just did the rest on their own.
I wasn't that worried when that happened, although I think there was a point where an edge didn't kill and I got a little worried, but the next thing killed, so.
Yeah, so overall, I just think it was a really impressively played seed. Just very solid, good play. Luckily, your philosophy of do all the objectives first definitely paid off today. So, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So how, 2-1, we'll put you in the play-in race. How are you feeling about that?
We'll see. That's gonna be a real rough time. I'm gonna have to rely a lot on luck on that one because there's just so many people. Like, I'm just gonna have to take a weird direction and just hope it works out, I feel like. But we'll see how that works out. I'm definitely gonna have to change up my playstyle and go crazy and take some interesting gambles.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this play-in race is going to be pretty brutal. A lot of really high-skill players.
Yeah, it's wild how many people are going to be racing at the same time. With the community races often get up to that size, but in terms of like big tournament races, because of the formats that we've used over the last year, it's been a while since we've seen these gigantic races where really ending up at the top is important.
Yeah, that's a little scary, and I saw a question in the chat that I kind of wanted to answer. The reason I was gonna fade, like, Ordeals, fading Ordeals, that was because I just thought it's a long check, and I have better things to do. Like, right now, like, I have 3 potential key items from Baron, and plus Baron in, right? Like, I have 3 checks in Logic, and then I have the required for Bull, Antlines just really quick, Ordeals, 3 bosses. I didn't really care about the character because I was set for life with those, so yeah, I pretty much went there. The only thing that would have been nice there, maybe like a Rosa or something, but yeah, it worked out, so I'm glad I did
Yep, I think that was a great decision on your part. Really no incentives to climb that mountain, and it's exactly like you said. Plenty of other places to look, other rocks to pick up and look around under in search of those key items. Although I guess didn't really need that many. You said at the start you hate jet seats. Why do you hate jet seats?
Because they're stressful.
Fair.
I agree.
There's not much to it. But thank you for restreaming, and I'll be leaving now, and you guys can go commentate Vampstar.
Okay, thank you so much, and congratulations on your win, and good luck on your future races.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, meanwhile, Vampstar just about to get his hook. Woo!
And with that, he is in go mode. Like we discussed before, he will have 10 key items once he gets that crystal, thanks to picking up that extra rat tail on top of Mount Ordeals. So his grind will go a little bit faster. We'll see if he chooses to try to power up before he goes through Cave Evelyn or not.
Yep. I was so busy tracking Marty, I don't know if he ever saw those. Well, he just got his hook, so never mind. That's a silly question. Hopefully we'll see those sirens pretty soon. Let's see. What's he doing? It does look like he is picking up his hovercraft, so it does look like he is going to go straight down into the hook route. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually does a quick stop. Nope, straight to the hook route. Turning in that peak tail will not give you an adamant armor. We have adamant armors turned off for this tournament. However, it still will give you a high tier item, which often can be very useful. But just going straight down through the hook route is going to be faster. Hopefully he sees the sirens in this shop. Yep, there's your grind. And has quite a bit of money to pick them up.
Caligula asking in the chat what a jet seed means, and Zoe helpfully answering that question. Please, if anybody watching these races is relatively new to the free enterprise community or has questions about anything we're talking about, I know that we tend to use a lot of random lingo, things like jet seeds, scrambling eggs, whose butt are we gonna kick? All these things sound very silly without context. So please, if anybody is curious,
no worse than American football,
Well, yeah. But the advantage is that you can actually ask us what stuff means. It doesn't work quite so well if you're trying to watch the NFL.
Yes. Generally, we consider a jet seed is one that has all the pieces in place where with good play you can complete it in under 1 hour. Because it's fast, like a jet.
Meow.
Meow. Zoom. Vampstar looting along the way, unfortunately runs into the Staleman chest. Probably won't have too much trouble getting through here, but it is going to slow him down. Oh, and Marty, being the people's champion, is going to go give us some music. Sinestral Battle from Lufia 2. So if you don't know, normally in Cave Magnus, the magnetic cave, Edward will go and he will play a little harp song that will disable the Dark Elf so that he can actually be fought. And while it is a nice little tune, this is a randomizer. So we like to randomize that song to one of the amazing compositions made by our developers Boardface and Calamity. I actually don't know how many songs there are now, but there's so many, and there's so many good ones. There's music from other JRPGs, there's some Street Fighter music, I know the Tetris theme is in there. It's all really great. But one nice quality of life feature is we don't always get to hear the music, because in many cases, like today, going to Cave Magnus was not required. So our developer Boardpace put in a fun little Easter egg where if you go to Edward's bedroom in Troya Castle, you can hear the song that was selected on Edward's little harp over there. And I think I'll just be quiet for a bit so you can actually hear the music. I've been explaining the music, but not letting you listen to it. So I'm just going to let you listen to it for a minute.
Pirates living in the middle of the... You asked me before about what my favorite Z sprite was, so I'm going to throw the same question toward you. Do you have a favorite song that you've heard from the Twin Harp?
I'm a really big fan of the Tetris theme. Just, you know, the classic do 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 do. That's one of my favorites.
That's a classic for sure.
There's been some really good Mario music too. It's so funny because I think of some songs and I see that now playing come up and I'm like, there's no way this is gonna sound good on a MIDI harp. And then I'm listening and I'm like, no, that actually sounds really good on a MIDI harp.
It really is crazy. Like, literally every single one sounds good.
It's I think part of that is the testament to the skills of our developers. But yeah, that sounded really good on a harp. Now, Vampstar taking on this Dark Knight Cecil. This is not an easy fight, so we'll see if he gets through it.
Takes a little time to drop Cecil. Probably wasn't going to be necessary for a variety of reasons. His Dark Knight counterpart was probably going to do that for him, but also no experience to be earned here.
No, yeah, you don't have to worry about that Cecil dying. Probably will go and turn down the battle speed here. Oh, unfortunately did not save in the save point right before that fight. Only saved back in Cave Eblin, so is going to have to watch this character cutscene again and do a little more walking. I tend to err on the other side. I tend to save too much, even when I don't need to, and lose time that way.
Same.
I saved literally 5 seconds ago. Better save again.
Gonna go literally just walk into town and look at the shop. I need a save. I gotta just be careful, you know?
Yeah. You never know what you're gonna encounter on that walk 10 feet into town and 10
The
feet
NPCs are vicious. They walk in your way. They block you. You can't defeat them. You can't even fight them. They're too powerful.
I gotta admit, the old lady in the Kaipo Inn has lost a race for me, like literally before.
Wow.
Speaking of which, since we're retracing our steps here, I'm gonna exclude the lady in the Kaipo Inn because she gets in everyone's way. Who is the NPC you have the most trouble with?
I'm gonna go with.
It looks like he does.
There's
GG,
two that come to
Marty.
mind.
Congratulations
GG, Marty.
on
The
your
dwarf
victory.
near the left stairs of the dwarf castle.
What did you think of that seed? I know with these jet
shout-outs also
seeds,
to
I
Luca
always
before she
just
hangs
my
out in the
heart
throne room.
starts a pounding.
But I think my number one answer is going to be the NPC that hangs out near the front of the town of Troya.
Yes, that was going to be my number one, was the NPC who blocks the path from Troya. I've exited out of Troya before just because they've spent 30 seconds just walking back and forth along the entrance. My other one is, it doesn't seem to happen to other people as much, but Princess Luca it seems like every time she's in my way.
The first of 3 bosses you have to deal with in the dwarf castle. First, you must pass Luca. Then you fight the normal ones.
Exactly.
Vampstar appears to be trying to power up a little bit, trying to get some more HP before dealing with that Dark Knight Cecil. Understandable, a little more health could make it more doable. The edge with just over 1100 should be possible, just has to really be on top of those menus. Just get the throw a cure on edge before the first wave, queue up the next cure, kind of similar to how Marty did it. There is one other clever way that you can try to go about this, thanks to that cane in the party. It is possible to jump the second and third waves. You queue up the jump, then he leaps over. If everybody else is dead, the other wave animations don't even go. They just fizzle, just nothing happens. So it looks like it doesn't work. He lands, and then the dialogue box pops up, and it looks like a miracle. Like, whoa, how did that work? But that's it works. When it works, it almost feels like an accident, but it is possible.
I didn't notice if Vampstar actually turned down. Yep, looks like he's turning it down all the way this time. That's probably going to help a lot. Run buffering is also a great thing here to do. I don't know how to concisely explain run buffering other than the you can't run window makes the ATB gauge run, but it also doesn't allow people to do actions. I don't know of a better way to explain that.
I guess that's more or less the right idea. I think the idea is that if you've queued up something, it the ATB does continue to tick, but it won't let somebody's turn roll over. So, for example, the Wyvern fight is a great place where this comes up, where you try to run buffer at the start, and you do that so that you can get your character's action all the way loaded up and do it before Wyvern gets to do its turn. So, long story short, run buffering helps you get in your actions sooner without the enemies taking their turns. Something like that. This is one that I'll admit I'm with you. I'm a little fuzzy on the best way to explain it. One of those things where I just sort of accept that it works.
I just slam those LNR buttons and pray.
Yeah.
Vampstar taking a few more of the green dragon eggs. The less common grind, but one I have done before when I'm stuck at these hook bosses. It would be nice, just a couple of hundred more HP on his edge, and he could just straight out survive those Dark Wave attacks.
Yeah, this Dark Knight Cecil is no joke. This is absolutely one of the worst bosses you can run into at the King Queen Evelyn spot. King Queen Evelyn normally just a story fight, no threat. They cast those low-level fire spells, and eventually they just fade away on their own. But as is often the case with many bosses that use only certain kinds of attacks.
Turn down your battle speed. It's your last save. You didn't do it since the last save. Oh no! Oh. I've been in this spot before where you're behind, you're getting a little frustrated, and it makes you a little careless. Let's see though.
Okay, this is looking pretty
got
good.
It off. This should be good, because Edge has survived 2 waves already before his most recent level. Yeah, got it! Bam! Woo! Did you know that justice is not the only right in this world? Someday, you will see. Oh, Ted Woodsley, you tried so hard. I don't blame him, though. If you go read, like, the making of the US version of Final Fantasy IV, he had, like, no time, no resources. It's amazing that this game is even in readable English text. Oh, this wasn't this was the in-house translation, I think. I am being corrected on this.
All I know is that 10, 12-year-old me did not notice anything wrong with this game. It was perfect, and thus, for current me, continues to be perfect.
Yeah, it's really... In most other translations, it's more like vengeance is not the right thing, but I guess justice is not the only right in this world.
Yeah, I like that message. I think that's still pretty profound.
Yeah, I'm being corrected. I got that totally backwards. Yeah, this is the one. The reason this wasn't the best is this was completely done in-house at Square Enix Japan, I believe. That sounds right. But even back then, I mean, you think about it now, we have so many translation tools. You have Japanese to English dictionaries, you have online tutorials, you have phrase books. Back then, there were so few Japanese to English, just translation, just resources, references. It's honestly, it makes you understand why so many of those early, Japanese to English translations weren't that great. And just Japanese and English are such different languages. Gambit, our tracker in chat, saying translations. Translations are the only right in this world. Someday we might translate.
Also, very profound.
Yes. But yeah, it's amazing that these early 90 games are even readable at all.
So Vampstar working his way through the Mega Sisters fight. A couple things that Marty had working for him that I don't think Vampstar has is I don't think he has that mute knife. At least I didn't see it scrolling through the inventory. I don't know if he still has that, or I think the Cane still has the rune axe, so that is good. Also, doesn't appear to have used the Leviathan item to grant that summon to Rydia, so instead relying on Sylph spells, which are still pretty good, keeps the party healthy.
Yeah, the healing effect of that Sylph spell is really, really useful.
And, of course, bypasses that wall that gets thrown on the middle sister, so don't have to worry about it getting reflected or anything like that.
Yep. Now, of course, in order to beat this fight, you have to take out Cindy, I believe is the middle one, first. But sometimes, because the other two sisters have so much less HP... Ooh, nice grimoire pull. Have so much less HP, sometimes it is easier just to try to take one of them out first, so you're not dealing with the Delta attack. But we have Cindy down, and it shouldn't be too bad from here. It's really, once you get that middle sister down, there's nothing left to fear.
Yeah, maybe Sandy throws a charm spell on somebody. That could be a little bit aggravating, but shouldn't be too much risk.
I have unintentionally started some translation conversations in chat right now. Plus, the sylphs are cute. Look at their little wings. They're all flappy, and at the end, they're like, yay! Throw their hands up in the air.
Make all those fun sounds, and everything's great. And they do it for the low price of 0 MP.
Yep, it was recently changed that that glitch that makes the Sylph summon not deduct MP if Rydia's not in the middle spot. Was recently removed, but we did bring it back for this tournament. Not removed, but made a option. Yeah, and you just see how much faster that mute knife made this fight. When your edge is swinging around for 4,000 damage a hit.
That genie problem, that's so good and so bad. I mean, I feel obligated to say it, but he says the sylphs cost nothing. They're self-sufficient.
Oh, that deserves an RPG Valk's Sill emote. I'm gonna dig that out. You just got silled. Zoe joining in on me with that. Okay, but we are through. So Vampstar is going to launch the Falcon very shortly. Get objective number 3. Receive his crystal. He did unfortunately have to burn some sirens on getting a few more levels to get through that Dark Knight Cecil spot. So might have to go either steal a few more or buy a few more. But I'm expecting an egg grind incoming here because we don't have a Luca key to do trapdoors and we don't have a darkness crystal to do any of the moon-based grinds.
Right. I don't remember exactly how many he has left. The one thing he does have working for him is he has 10 key items now with the inclusion of that crystal. So he will be receiving double experience from all fights from here on out, including those normally 32,000 yellow dragon eggs, now giving 64,000.
Which is so nice. Actually, with that, he might have enough sirens. Let's see, how many does he have?
36!
36! Never mind! I misread that as like 6.
I thought it was like 16.
Yeah, we're gonna be fine. Just to remember to kill off your agility anchor and you will be great.
I was curious whether he was gonna pick up Cecil and slingshot him at this part of the race, but it looks like he's content just rolling with Kane and Edge as his fighters and keeping Cecil on the floor.
Yeah, I don't know if Vampstar picked up the curse ring. If he has the curse ring, his Z-fight's gonna be fine.
Yes, I'm pretty sure he's got both the curse ring and the dwarf axe on Cecil.
Okay, then this is gonna be Zeromus is gonna be slow. Slow like very cold molasses. Slow like a snail on top of a turtle.
Slowness.
I don't know. Slow like really good slowness metaphor here. Come up with your best slowness metaphors and similes in chat.
Slow like waiting for a Mediocast.
That's a good one. But while we're grinding, I'm going to give out one more shout out to the last race of the Hook/Magma group round. That is going to be at 8 p.m. tonight over on our partner network, RPG Limit Break. This is also a good time to thank RPG Limit Break for hosting so many of our restreamed runs. Both RPG Limit Break and Randomania agreed to host some of our races because we've had so many races restreamed that we can't fit them all on one channel. So thank you, Randomania. Thank you, RPG Limit Break. So awesome. So much good content. But anyway, over on RPG Limit Break at 8 p.m., we are going to have a race between Loof and Commander Leonhardt, both of which are at 2-2. The person who wins not only gets the pride of having a perfect record for this round, they will also get an extra chance in those play-in races. So some good stuff. That is definitely going to be a primetime, very important game today.
With the end of this portion of the tournament quickly approaching us, maybe a good time to do a little retrospective. How have you been feeling about this tournament as a whole? The flags and rules that were used. Just what are you thinking? As Gambit says, 140 restreamed races later, plus many more that did not make the big channels.
I really liked this flag set for 1v1 and for so many races. When you're doing 6 races, having a flag set that's under 2 hours is a good thing. Keeps you from getting weared out. I really liked having the Wharf Dwarf glitch on the Dwarf Castle Warp. Wow, words. The Dwarf Castle Warp glitch on, just because that gave an interesting decision of maybe I want Rydia over Palom because Rydia learns Warp, earlier, or maybe I want to take that Tella because if I go to the top of Mount Ordeals anyway, I'm going to get that warp spell. So I thought that was a really cool thing.
100% agreed on all points. Couldn't have said it better myself. Those settings were really cool. The 3 out of 4 objectives, only in general having to complete X out of Y, is a really great addition to the latest version of the free enterprise randomizer. That it just opens up a lot of options. Like you said, it does speed things up a little bit compared to being locked into having to do only a certain number of things and exactly those things. The character choices especially were really cool. Even now, I don't think that there's an established meta. I don't think it's like been solved where you should always pick these characters no matter what. No, there's lots of people who still debate whether or not you should take a Cecil. Some people who will stand by just never taking him at all unless you already have that high tier weapon in hand, an Excalibur or a Crystal Sword. Just be like, nope, it's not worth it. I don't want to deal with the vanilla agility anchoring. I'm just going to take somebody else and be totally happy with that. And if I find a Crystal Sword later, oh well, it happens. I think it's great that everybody has different strategies. It makes it so much fun to watch and to play.
Yeah, the other things I really liked were taking out Fusoya, because unfortunately a lot of the time Fusoya is just press nuke to win.
Yep.
So taking him out does make things a little more challenging. And I really like the lack of adamant armors, because adamant armor does, especially for top tier players, make the game a little bit too easy. The one thing I was actually kind of conflicted on, and I see the reasons for it and against it, is the not being able to retrieve characters. When you chuck characters, they're gone for good. I can definitely see arguments for that both ways. It does make you select your party, be very much more careful about who you ditch and who you take. And I also see the argument of it makes the choice of vanilla agility Cecil easier, because you're like, okay, well, I can ditch him now, and if I find a crystal sword, I can just pick him back up. But also, sometimes you just you accidentally overlevel your agility anchor, and you're like, well, there's no curse ring, I guess, there's nothing I can do about it now.
Yeah, we're gonna have equally interesting character choices to make in the table rounds coming up in a couple weeks for very different reasons. In those flags, as compared to the group flags, it's permajoin. Once you add somebody to your party, you cannot remove them. They are there forever. To compensate for that, you can do what you were just referencing, and you can, every time you find a character, you have the choice to take them right now or send them to Mysidia to be picked up later. So you do have the option to stash somebody until you're sure you want them, but you really got to make sure you want them.
Yeah, and the other thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, but that means you must use your starting characters.
Uh-huh.
Which is, if you're getting that good old, I don't know, Tella and Rydia start, you're just not having a lot of HP that day.
Yeah, Tella Rydia, or you get an Edward and no spoon to give him. At that point, it's like, where's the dancing dagger? Really need one of those, otherwise this guy is not helping the team.
Yep. But the other thing is, by the time we've gotten to that point, we've basically only have super high tier runners, right? And most of them are probably going to be able to handle just about any party that gets thrown at them, right?
I'm super excited for what the races are going to look like where we get there. I know that the bracket part of the Football Gauntlet tournament was super exciting just because of how high level it was, and I'm expecting the exact same thing for the table stage and the bracket of this tournament.
Yeah, and then since we're getting close to our Zeromus fight here, just my overall thoughts on the tournament. This tournament's been great. I think it's been a difficult year for a lot of people, and this tournament has been a really great distraction, lifting my spirits. I personally am immunocompromised, so I'm basically stuck indoors all the time right now, and it's just watching and interacting with people and doing commentary and behind-the-scenes stuff has been extremely good for my mental health. So I just want to take this chance to say thank you to everyone who's restreamed, who's played, who's just checked and make sure that people are where they need to be. Thank you, Scala Kitty, who somehow has literally been everywhere. I swear, I've seen her in 2 places at once.
Does she sleep? I'm not sure she sleeps.
And doing stuff for the RPG Valkyries on top of that. I don't know how she handles it all. The developers, Fred Coughlin, who did a bunch of the programming. Thank you to everyone, because this tournament has just been so good for me personally. But with that, Vampstar has made it to Zeromus. With a cursed ring Cecil, this should be a pretty slow Zeromus. And has a good setup here. Has a fully loaded Edge, has a decently loaded Cane. Porum is at Cure 4 levels. 1700's a pretty good HP to have on Porum. It's still a little bit risky. Unnerved Big Bang could still be trouble here, but it's very, very doable.
Absolutely. I think Vampstar is gonna kill it. Easy peasy. One more time, we get to find out whose butt we're going to kick this evening.
I need a sea shanty to sing for this Risky Boots, but I don't know any sea shanties. Yeah, but it's always nice when you have something to dart right into Zeromus's face.
Something, 20-somethings. Yeah.
I actually think this flag set has really shown the versatility of Edge, both with his sneak command combined with the new using the Japanese drop tables. He can just steal a lot of fun goodies. And also that dart command when you have so many good weapons and no one to use them. It's just a great way to make this Zeromus fight go really fast.
So Vampstar tried to throw an hourglass at Zeromus, which did not have the same effect as a silk web would. Stop just doesn't work on Zeromus, and therefore it will not counter with nuke, and therefore it will not nerf the next big bang using those mechanics you were discussing before about how it raises and lowers its magic stat depending on what attack it's about to use. So, does take a bigger hit than he planned, I'm sure, but picks up the important party members and works on healing everybody up.
That looks like it's direct casting white here to get the nuke, or the counter nuke, but not fast enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, and also if the white did go off, actually probably still will, he's in for a rude surprise. I have made this mistake in this tournament. Not going to get a counter nuke out of this.
Oh yeah, this is the weak. But honestly, that's actually better because if that Rydia took the nuke, she'd be dead.
That's true.
But taking the weak, but her HP ran out because of the virus earlier. Ooh, so having a little bit of a struggle here. Might want to switch over to just a Berserker strat here. That is the one thing. It doesn't matter what your skill level is. This Zeromus fight can still go sideways on you pretty quick.
Yep.
And the best thing really you can do is switch it up, which I definitely think going from the hybrid... Nope, still trying to nuke. Or still trying to nerf, I think. But Porum has taken these big bangs pretty well. I know if it were me, I'd probably just switch over to pure Berserker strats here. The timing is just not working out for the nerfing, and Porum's actually doing a pretty good job. I don't know what kind of equipment she has right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it looks dire at the moment, but Vampstar could actually absolutely recover in this situation. He's got all those Cure 3s stacked up, the elixirs that he used before. It's definitely plenty of room too. Yeah, got a ways to go. But I believe that he can pull through on this one.
Does have Cure 4. Yeah, she should. I'm sorry, I'm having a million thoughts right now.
Nah, it's all right. It's a tricky fight in a lot of ways.
Must not have seen the Bacchuses, and I don't think I see any Bacchuses in his inventory. Those were in... why can't I think of the town that's right by the Luca Cave? The Dwarven City. I believe the Bacchuses were there.
I believe that's Dwarfville?
Yes, Dwarf... It's not Tamra. Tamra's... Yeah, it is Tamra.
Yeah.
Ooh. Right on Porum. That's not the counter nuke he wants, but has the heal cured up. Or the cure healed up. Getting the white... I gotta admit, those whites are doing a lot of damage when direct cast.
Yeah, 9,000's pretty good. As long as... he keeps getting heals before the big bangs, it'll be okay.
Yeah, Zeromus is slow enough to where he's getting those Cure 3 potions. He's getting those off in time.
We do see why.
Go ahead.
Ooh.
Oh no, it's not. Yeah-oh. This is why you don't mess with pirates.
They don't take kindly to holy magic.
Yeah, as Zoe mentions, that was a particularly high roll.
Getting over 2,000 is really brutal.
Yeah, it's not super common. Ooh, and right into another one. I think Edge is gonna survive this. But only using Cure 2s. Uh-oh, is he out of Cure 3s?
Yeah, this might be the end of the road on this attempt, but that is okay. I think just about everybody who's played Free Enterprises has taken a wipe on this boss, and a lot of what's cool about this game is that you run into a problem and it knocks you down, but then you adapt. You're like, okay, my setup there wasn't quite good. I know that I shouldn't have done this. I did this at the wrong times. Let me go try that again, and you work out all the problems. Looks like Vampstar is going to take the forfeit, chooses to call it there. Understandable. I still think that was a really impressive race by him. His menuing, I think, is really sharp, and that, I think, is a skill that eludes a lot of newer players. I know for me it took a long time to get where I am now, and I still don't even feel like I'm particularly good at it. So he showed some good stuff in this tournament.
Yep, let's see. He does not feel like doing an interview today, which is perfectly fine. Here at Free Enterprise, we never make you talk on stream if you don't want to. We know a lot of people are shy. But
yeah, not a problem at all.
So I think we're wrapping up here. Anything you want to say? Oops, sorry. Okay, it looks like we are heading over to Asuka. We're going to be sending you over there, who I know is a relatively new Free Enterprise runner.
One of the finest seed rollers that we have in our community. Asuka seeds are notorious.
But I think I got out all my very important words during that grind, so I'm going to let you say what you want to say and wrap it up for us.
I'm going to be honest, I don't have anything to add to what you said. You put it as best as it could have been. This is a great community. I love how accepting everybody is. I love that players of all skill levels can come together and just hang out and enjoy this 30-year-old video game brought back to life in a fun new way. It's been a really great tournament. I'm looking forward to the rest of it. All right, I think that'll do it for us tonight. Kind of nerdy housewife. All right,
okay. I think we're
I did not realize we were already transitioning over, but that's cool.
Okay, I'm not going to hang out too much longer because I really got to use the bathroom, but I think that went pretty well. Okay, I'll see y'all later then.
See ya, folks.